All right. So what is today's topic about? Today's topic is how to run without injury. And as I started, I was speaking about running is a very interesting sport. It's a recreational sport. Many people are taking up. It's not very complicated. It's simple. You do not need any gym. You do not need any equipment, and all you need is a pair of running shoes, and you can start running. And you need a place to run. That's about it, right? No worry of gym, no worry of equipments, no worry of which muscle groups to work on. So it's very simple, and hence it has become so easily. People have picked it up so easily. So it's a great pleasure to talk about this sport today. All right, so we'll get started, and for whoever is, let me see how many people are live. So for whoever it is live, who am I? I am Ruma. I am a certified fitness trainer. I'm a certified fitness nutritionist, and I'm also a women's fitness specialist from International Sports and Sciences Academy USA and National Academy of Sports Medicines USA. Just recently, few months back, I was awarded the prestigious Times She Unlimited Rising Star Award by Times of India Group for my work in the area of health and fitness. And it's an extreme pleasure to be here today and speak about how we can prevent injury from running. Now, here's the thing, if you have joined any of my FB Live sessions before or any of my webinars or sessions before, you know that I talk, my sessions are very value packed. A lot of information is in there. So I would suggest that you come with a notepad, pen, and a bottle of water. All right. So I'll give you 1 minute. Yeah, while you prepare these things, if you've not come prepared, then go grab yourself a notepad, a pen, and a bottle of water, and I'll ready to get started. I'll leave you with lots and lots of notes. Okay. So 1 minute for you while I also grab some water for myself. All right, so folks who can hear me, see me, if you can, please put in see you, hear you, because I do not know if you can see me, hear me. And the technology is such that, it lags also. So please do take on to the comment box and put in see you, hear you, please. It will help me understand that you're able to hear me. Okay, so, yes, so you've come with your notepad, you've come with your pen, and you've come with a bottle of water. And for people who are just joining in, today's session is about how to run without injury, how to run safe. Running is a very attractive sport, and many people are taking on to it. It's easy to do. It's not complicated at all. All you need are a pair of running shoes and a place to run, and you don't have to have a gym or equipment, don't have to worry about which muscle groups to train. So it's a very easy sport. And running is also very addictive. And I'm saying that from my experience. I've been running for the last 23 years now. It's very addictive. Once you get onto it, it's very difficult to wean yourself out of running. So it gives me an extreme pleasure to talk about running today. And who am I? For people who just joined in, I am Ruma. I am a certified fitness trainer, a certified fitness nutritionist, and a women's fitness specialist from International Sports and Sciences Academy USA and National Academy of Sports Medicines USA. Just recently, I was awarded the prestigious Times She Unlimited Rising Star Award by the Times of India Group for my work in the area of health and fitness. So, we'll get started today. It's going to be very value-packed and information-packed. So, I really hope that we can cover it before 5:30 for the benefit of everybody who joined in on time. We are 7 minutes after 5. All right, so I'll start with a small story of mine so that you understand where I'm coming from. I started exercising, or I started running. Running was the first exercise that I picked up. It is usually the first exercise that most of the people pick up because, it's easy to do. You don't, as I was saying, it's not complicated. You can just need a pair of running shoes, a place to run, and you're all set. And across the world, people take onto the streets to run when the weather is good. So for me, it started when I was in university, and that was like 23 years back. It's a long time, and I have been running since then. Now, when I started running, I was studying, right, and it used to give me that after a whole days of the entire day of class, rigorous, and I was doing my master's, so lot of studies, lot of assignments, lot of homework, and after finishing all of that, my lectures, my studies, when I used to go out for a run, it used to feel like I'm relieving my stress. I would sweat like crazy, and when I come back, I used to feel so relaxed and so relieved that I was able to, the tension in my muscles used to go away. I also started sleeping well. I felt that I was becoming more and more focused in my studies. So the more I was seeing the benefit of running, the more I got addicted to it. And more than the benefits, it's the feeling that I used to get right after running. That the feeling of liberation, the feeling of I don't care at all. So it was so addictive. And I used to run outdoors. Our campus was very, very beautiful, very green, and it had, it was a little up and down. So I would have to push myself to go through the uphill, and then when downhill, it was felt like I was relaxing. So it was a beautiful experience, and I was getting addicted to it. Now, and when addiction happens, what happens? We don't think from our mind. And at that time, I was not academically qualified to understand what kind of injuries I could take myself into. So I was just running. I would put on a shoe. I would, the weather outside was good, and I would start running. So when addiction sets in, these are the things people make mistakes at, and I am a product of my own mistakes. So the mistake I made was I continued to run in all kinds of weather condition, right? If it was snowing, I would go out run. If it was raining, I would go out and run. If it was, hot outside, we used to have, sun would be up until, it would be daylight till 8 or 9 in the evening sometimes during summertime when I was in my university days. And I would just go out and run. It didn't matter. In all weather conditions, I ran. And what happened was 6 months down the line with that kind of running schedule, what happened was I got into, 6 months down the line, I started getting on my left knee, I started getting a very dull pain. But addiction is addiction. You don't care about pain. I continued to run. And then there was a point that I just, it was becoming difficult for me to fold my knees, get in and out of the car, walk from my department to department. So all of those were happening. And when I met the doctor said, Ruma, you have to stop running. And that was for a person who loves running. That is one of the deadliest things that you can hear from a doctor. Yeah, and today that is what I'm going to cover for you. What are the mistakes I made? I do not want you to make that mistake. So today when I, in most of my sessions, if you have attended my sessions before, you would know that since I've been exercising for the last 23 years, and now I'm academically qualified as well, and I've been helping people across the world with their transforming their health and transforming their fitness, I just speak not from my academic qualifications. I bring in a lot of my personal and my professional experience when I give my recommendation, right? So I hope this session will be valuable to you. So, stay put through the rest of the session, because the way I have structured this is in the initial part, I'm going to talk about if you are a runner, what kind of injuries you are at risk at. Okay, that is number one. Second, I'm going to talk about if you get into injury, what is the immediate thing you should do? That's the second part of the session. And the last part of the session is how can you prevent injury for long term? All right, so it will be in 3 sections. Stay put. I hope to cover this in the next by 5:30. And what I would request of you is take lots of notes, pen, pen and a notebook is a must. I always sit with my notebook and sit with a glass of water. You don't want to miss a single word in this session. Okay. Okay, so we'll get started, and if you can see me, hear me, please, I would like you to comment in the comment box. Please see you, hear you, Ruma, and it will be a great help to me if you can do that, please. All right, because I can understand whether you can see me, hear me. And the second request from you is, if you have any questions, please do type it in the comment box as soon as you have the question. Don't stay till the end, because there is the technology that we are using. There is a lag in the technology. If you wait until the session is over to put your comment, it may be too late. I may see it after I have ended the live session. So keep putting in the comments, and at the end, when I have completed the session, I will answer all your queries. All right. So yeah, please start doing that. See you here in the comment box. I do not see anybody saying that. Am I not audible? I don't see a single comment. I'm not sure I'm audible. All right, so folks, I'll continue, hoping that you can see me, hear me. All right. Chetan, hi. All right. Thanks so much, Chetan. Thank you for confirming. All right, great. Okay, so let's get started. So the different kind of injuries that, the first one I'll talk about is the one that I went through, is the patellofemoral injury. It's, this I went through 23 years back. It starts with a dull pain in the knee, and it is primarily a wear and tear kind of injury. It develops over a period of time. You don't get into it immediately, but over a period of time, as you are running, you can get into a patellofemoral injury. And how you will understand is, it's a dull pain right behind the kneecap, right, and surrounding the knee. And especially when you're folding your knees, trying to get up the stairs, get down the stairs, you may feel that pain. That is called patellofemoral injury. The next one is Achilles tendinitis. So tendon, I wish I could raise my leg and show you. Your calf muscles are connected to your heels through a tendon, which is called the Achilles tendon. And again, when you're running due to stress, constant running can cause that tendon to get inflamed, and it can cause pain. You will feel a warmth in that area, right behind your legs, right underneath your calves, to the place where your calves are connected to your heels. So that is another kind of pain or injury, which is very common among runners. The third one is IT band injury. Again, many people have, they're born with tight IT band, and people who have tight IT bands, it's a connective tissue at the side of your on the side of your thighs, the outside side of your thighs, and it connects your knee. It starts from your knee. All right, and it goes all the way up to connect with some of the hip muscles. So this connective tissue that we have is called the IT band. And some people are born with tight IT bands, and those people, when they run, can continue to the constant flexion and extension of their knee can put a lot of more pressure on the IT band, causing it to get into a pain. Very common pain among runners as well. So IT band is another kind of pain. Another is shin splints. So the shin muscle is in the front of your feet. Again, right below, a little below your knee, it starts, and it's in the front. Again, wear and tear. A lot of running can give rise to shin splints. So it's a pain in the shin. Usually happens in the night, when you're overstressed. Can happen even in young children who play a lot, right? So that is also one of the common problems that we see. Not so common that I have heard within my group of people who run but I have heard from other people, are hamstring problems in your hamstring, pain in the hamstring. So hamstring is a muscle which is on the back side of your thigh. All right, so in the front is your thigh, which is also called the quadricep muscle, and on the back side of the thigh is the hamstring muscle. And that muscle that muscle helps in the flexion of the knee. So when you're bending the knee, that is the muscle that is coming into action. When you extend the knee, when you're straightening the knee out, so when you're bending the knee, it's the hamstring, the back part of the leg that gets activated. And when you're extending the knee, it's the quadricep, the thigh, that is getting extended. I wish I could show you my legs, but just to give you a visual idea. Now, many people, when you're running, you're extending the legs. Also, in the swing, you are pulling your legs backwards so that you can get onto the next stride. And that is when many people also develop a lot of hamstring pain. The another one that I very commonly hear among people is bursitis. Bursitis is a sac which is in your knee. It's filled with fluid, and it gives lubrication to that joint, right? And some cushioning, not lubrication, but cushioning to the joint. And if again, it's also due to wear and tear. And when the fluid becomes less, you can feel the pain in your knee. So these are the common conditions among runners. Now, for people who have joined in, any of you have gone through any of these issues? If you have, please do comment in the comment box. I have. Then I will be able to understand how to structure the conversation of this discussion. All right. So if you have gone through any of these issues, please do mention it in the comment box. Okay. And I'll look at it at the end, and I'll go through each of your comments. All right. So these are the common conditions. The moment you get into pain, prevention I'll come to later, but the moment you come into pain, there are certain things that you need to do. One is apply this methodology. It's called RICE. All right. Apply this methodology whenever you get into an injury after running. So rest. R is for rest. Immediately go into rest. If you feel that any of your pain, your pain is aggravating, you have pain after running, please do rest. Rest is very important. And this is one of the mistakes I made. I didn't rest myself. Even though there was pain, I continued to run, because as I was saying, running is very, very addictive. And you have to really hold yourself back to not run. So, and I'm also a Kathak dancer. So you can understand, what is the level of pressure my legs take. So, at that time, I wasn't conditioned enough to take that kind of a running. Right, and hence rest is very, very important. The more the moment you get into injury, the first thing that you need to do is rest. The second one is ice. Ice for minimum of 72 hours, 3 days, till this pain goes away. All right, 15 minutes for 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and night. All right, you continue to, so that reduces the inflammation as well. So rest. Second is ice. Third is compression. You compress that place. If you have something that can hold that place tight, it could be your calf muscles, it could be your knee. Put something that can compress that area, which will, restrict, kind of restrict the blood flow, and not blood flow exactly, but the accumulation of fluid, the inflammatory fluid in that area. So that also helps to reduce the pain for some time. And the last one is elevation. Raise your feet. If you have pain in the feet when you're sitting, raise your feet. Put it on top of a pillow, or put it. It should be raised. Do not put your pressure on the leg while standing. So when we stand, there is a lot of pressure on our legs as well. So try not to do that. Sit as much as possible and raise your legs. Continue to do that. If your pain is not coming down, then the next thing that you want to do is meet with the doctor. Yeah, and till the time your doctor, and this is the second mistake I made. I pushed it to a level where, I had to be put on bed rest for some time. I was asked not to run, I couldn't dance, I couldn't do almost anything, I couldn't put a lot of pressure on my legs. So a lot of your, do not take it to a level where you will be asked not to run anymore, because for a runner to not run is the is the worst thing that can happen. So meet with the doctor. Until the doctor and your physiotherapist gives you a go ahead to start running, don't start running. You could probably go for a brisk walk if you've been given the go ahead to do so, but do not run till this goes away. All right, so these are the two things you have to do immediately if you get into an injury. The another thing that I'm going to cover when you get into an injury, the first thing that you should start in terms of your nutrition, what you should do is start taking some anti-inflammatory food. And anti-inflammatory food would be turmeric, would be ginger, would be fish oils, the cod liver oil. They will help you in, the good oils also are anti-inflammatory. So consume walnuts, ginger, turmeric. Mix it in a little bit of lukewarm water and drink that. Usually what I do if I get into any injury is I take a teaspoon of turmeric, a teaspoon of ginger, and a teaspoon of black peppercorn. And in the morning, I boil it in 500 ml of water. Boil it really well, take the decoction and separate it out into 3 parts. And then I drink it thrice a day. It helps. It's an anti-inflammatory. It helps. I start taking cod liver oil, which is the fish oil, which I anyway take. But it's for anybody who is into regular exercising and running, it's always a good idea to take some kind of omega-3 fatty acids. I am a non-vegetarian, so I take fish oil. If you are a vegetarian, you can go for flaxseed oils. Right, and the next one that you must do if you get into an injury, increase your protein intake. Protein helps in recovery, so increase your protein intake. Usually Indians eat very less protein, and usually we have to increase our protein intake anyway. According to WHO guidelines, World Health Organization guidelines, Indians are taking way less protein than what we should take. So anyway, we have to increase, and especially if you get into an injury, increase your protein intake. And protein you can get from non-vegetarians, you can get from fish, chicken, poultry, and vegetarians, you can get it from milk products, dairy products, soya products. So soya products would be your tofu, soya chunks, soya milk. Dairy products would be your curd, paneer, all of those. All right. So nutrition, also take care of your nutrition when you get into injury. Nutrition you take care of even if you're not an injury. But if you got into an injury, you have to be extra careful about your nutrition. All right. So anti-inflammatory and protein. And with that, I'll take a short break for my water, and I'll move on to the next section on prevention, which is a very, very important section. You do not want to miss this. All right. So for people who have missed the initial part, what are we talking about? We are talking about how to run without injury. And who am I? I am Ruma. I'm a certified fitness trainer. I'm a certified fitness nutritionist, and I'm a women's fitness specialist from International Sports and Sciences Academy USA and National Academy of Sports Medicines USA. And just recently, I was awarded the prestigious She Unlimited Rising Star Award by the Times of India Group for my work in health and fitness. And for folks who have been listening to this session for this long, if you find this session valuable, if you feel that this is adding value to you, then please put a like and a love in for the video, please. All right. And we'll move on to the next section. Okay. So the next one is about prevention. So this is the third mistake I did, and I came to find this out from my doctor. All right. When I got into the pain and the injury and I couldn't move, I went to the doctor, and doctor said, Ruma, you have to stop running. And people who are into running and who have gone through this, if you can understand my pain and my sentiment, put I in the comment box. If you've gone through this experience where you've been asked not to run, and you felt sad and frustrated and depressed, then put I in the comment box. Please let me see how many of us are there. All right. Sure, Chet. Thanks so much for putting in all the comments. I think, the comments also take a long time to come, so I didn't see them. I'm seeing them now. Thanks, Chetan, for putting all of those. We'll go through each of them. Yeah? Okay. So yes. So the first thing the doctor said was, Ruma, you started running when you were not prepared to run, and this is something that I have made a mistake, and I see many people make the same mistake. And we work with a lot of people. We as Navitae, our entire team, we work with people across the world. And we see that this is a very common issue because running is so easy. You really do not, you do not have to worry about a lot of things. You don't have to worry about gyms. You do not have to worry about equipment. You do not have to worry about, which muscle groups to work today. Nothing like that. It's so uncomplicated. It's, just find a pair of running shoes and start running. So many people, what they do is they just start with running. Whenever somebody asks them to start exercising, the first thing that comes to their mind is, let me go walk. And if they are very super bored with walking, then the next thing they do is they go and run, right? So this is a common thing, and I also did the same thing. But what happens is when we do that, what we don't realize is we are not prepared for running. If we have to run, the first thing that we need to understand is that we have to strengthen. And this is what my doctor told me. He said that, Ruma, your legs are not strong enough to take the impact of running. Okay. And that is what is happening with most of the people. Most of the runners, they run without strengthening the related muscles. And what are the related muscles? The related muscles are all the muscles that surround the knee. All right, so I'll show you. Let me see. This may look a little odd, but for a runner, if you cannot see, then it doesn't make sense. So this is your knee, all right? And there are multiple muscles that support your knee. Quadricep muscle, this is IT band, which is the connective tissue, the hamstring, the calf muscles, the shin, all of these are working together to support your knee. So your knee is a complex piece of anatomy. All right, and I've only talked about the major muscle groups. There are a lot of other muscles, smaller and bigger, micro and macro muscles, which are supporting the knee. And we have to make sure that we strengthen the knee, to strengthen the muscles surrounding the knee, right? So that is number one. The number two, which we do not realize, is that we also have to strengthen the muscles of our hips, the glute muscles, right? The gluteus maximus and the gluteus maximus and the gluteus major. All of these muscles have to be gluteus medius. I'm sorry. These have to be strengthened, because when you run, just think about this. When you're running, this is your heel. It comes and impacts on the floor, on the ground. And this impact moves from your ankle to your knees to your hip joints. And I'm giving you an analogy of the leg, because if I'm showing the legs, I'm not able to talk to you guys. So the impact travels from your ankles, from your ankles to your heels, to your knees, to your hips. So your hips also have to have the strength to be able to tackle that kind of an impact. The third thing, all right, so two we have spoken about, strengthen all the muscles around your knees, strengthen your glute muscles, and the third one is strengthen your core. Many times, many people run with, if I may call it, wrong posture. Many times, if you've seen runners, they bend forward and run, yeah? Now, when you bend forward, what is happening? There is a flexion. There is a constant hip flexion, and there is a constant hip extension. So, let me show you this. This is very difficult to explain by just sitting and doing Gyandan. So, when you bend like this, there is a hip flexion, and this is extension. All right. So what happens is that there is a constant flexion and there is a constant extension when you're running with that kind of a posture, and you bend front and run with that kind of a posture. And that leads to a lot of muscular imbalances of the frontal and the posterior muscle groups. All right. And that leads to even further injury. And your entire posture will get a little imbalanced to be able to support your further running. So never bend forward when you are running on a plain surface. Instead, what you should do is you should run straight and make sure that your hips are not flexed. Make sure your chest is out, your shoulder blades are touching behind. So you keep a straight spine, try to keep a straight spine. It's not going to be possible all the time, but try to keep a straight spine when you're running as well. And if you're a person who has to do hip flexion when you're running, then you come back home after you finish the exercises, come back home and do the Setu Bandhanasana. It opens up your hip flexor. So you have to open up your hip flexors if you are a person who bends forward when running. All right. So these are the three things. The last one that I wanted to cover is, and this also happens, hip flexion, you will be able to overcome it with a very good core strength. That gives you a good balance. And when you get a good balance, your entire posture of running will be very properly balanced. With every stride that you go one leg at a time, you will be very, very balanced. And hence it will lead to you will be at a risk of lesser injury. All right. So strengthen the muscles around the knees. And I'll tell you what are the exercises you can do for those. Strengthen the muscle around the knees, strengthen your glute muscles, and strengthen your core. All right. So these are the three strengthening routines you have to do. The next one that you have to do are stretches. As you run, there are certain muscles which will extend, which will elongate, and certain muscles which will flex, which will shorten. For example, as I was telling you, when you're bending your knees, your hamstring muscles are shortening and your quadricep muscle, which is the muscle of the thigh, is elongating. So again, there is a muscular imbalance that is happening when you're running, and that happens not just with running, it happens with any kind of exercise that you do. Even the exercises that you may go and do at the gym, they are a combination of flexion and extension. All right. So what you need to do is you have to stretch prior to as well as after running. You have to stretch your muscles prior to and after running. So a typical running routine would be 5 minutes of warm up, jump up and down, skip, hop, whatever you do in your place to warm yourself up. Make sure, and what the warm up does is it enhances the blood flow through your body. And it warms up your muscles as well. They are not tight. A tight muscle is more prone to injury. A warmed up muscle, with a good amount of oxygen and blood flow, is lesser prone to injury. So warm up is important, and right after that you stretch your muscles, right? So do all your leg stretches, your IT band stretch, your hamstring stretch, your quadricep stretch, your calf stretch, all of those stretches. Run, finish the run, come back and stretch again. And if you are a person who bends forward when running, then Setu Bandhanasana is a very important exercise for you right after you finish your run. All right. So these are the stretches you have to do. And for strengthening, what you need to do for leg strengthening, your squats, lunges, step ups, step downs, side leg raises. This helps to strengthen your IT band. But if you have a tight IT band, don't do the side leg raises. And if you have the exercise balls, what you can do is you can do ball squeezes. You place the ball, the exercise ball, these are big size of balls. You place it right between the two knees and squeeze your legs. All right, tighten them and squeeze your legs. The way it helps is it helps to strengthen the inside of your thighs, which often goes neglected. All right, in most of our daily day-to-day activities, we never strengthen the inside of our thighs. So that is very important. And the thigh muscle overall, the inside of the thigh, the outside of the thigh, they are all going to strengthen your knee muscle. So whichever muscle is surrounding the knee, your thigh, hamstring and calf muscle, they have to be strengthened. Another very good exercise is calf raises. They strengthen your calf muscles. So strengthen your calf muscles. So the 4 exercises I'm talking about: lunges, squats, calf raises, and ball squeezes. Side leg raises, but only for people who do not have tight IT band. All right. So these are the exercises you have to do for strengthening. Now, how many of you would like to have a playlist of these exercises? Type I in the comment box, please. And so far, if you're finding this information valuable, I'd like to take a pause and, please do a love and like on this video, please. Oh, we are already 7 minutes over. I'm so sorry. And the last one I want to cover is buy a shoe which can absorb a lot of shock. When we are running is an impact exercise, and that impact travels from your toes to your ankles, to your knees, to your hips, right? So you need to invest in a shoe, and they do not come cheap. They are all right, Pallavi. So Chaitra as well, sure. Karthik as well. All right. So what I'm going to do, right after this. Sure. So right after this, I'll have to figure out a way to create a playlist for all of you and post it here. Jagdish as well. Sure, absolutely. I think I should have come prepared with that playlist. I already have it on my YouTube channel. See, I can suggest you one thing. Go to the YouTube channel Navitae, and in the playlist, you will see a playlist with stretching and strengthening exercises for runners. You should find it there. If you don't find it there, let me know. You have, where to find me. Let me know and I'll share it with you. All right. But go to the YouTube channel, do it right after this session, and you will be able to see it in the list of the playlists. All right. Okay. So with that, invest in the shoe. Now, they don't come cheap, but I can tell you the amount of money you're going to spend and the amount of time you're going to spend in meeting with a doctor, getting your physiotherapy done, if you get into an injury, will be way more than the cost of your shoe. So people who are into running, people who love running to death, and they if they've been asked not to run, they will probably get into a depressed mode. It's advisable that you go and get yourself a good pair of shoes. Now, I'm not an affiliate or a promoter of any brand, but some of the brands that have worked for me are Nike and Adidas, and especially the technologies they use. Nike uses air technology, which is a shock absorption technology. It absorbs a lot of shock. So I usually go with Nike Air, and there is Adidas as well. Adidas came with a technology, I'm forgetting the name of it. They used to call it bubble. All right. Again, same principles, but instead of a full thing of air, they have bubbles inside which traps the air and which can take the shock. So Adidas and Nike are my go-to brands if I'm looking for running shoes. All right. So invest. I'm not an affiliate. I'm not a promoter of Nike or Adidas. I'm only sharing what I've learned from my experience, personal experience and professional experience of helping or working with people across the world. All right. So that brings me, let me see if I have anything else that I wanted to share. Yes. So that brings me to the end of the session. Now I will start taking questions. So Chaitra has, all right, so I'll just, all right. So the ankle sprain, one I saw about ankle injury. Let me quickly cover that. Now, ankle is something, Chaitra, that you can, that can just happen. All right. And it is an accident that happens at the moment. So try and find a shoe which can give you some ankle support. But if you run with a shoe with ankle support, you'll not be able to have a good range of pronation, good pronation for your feet. So I would only say that look at the surface when you're running. Ankle support would be one to go for, but ankle support will heavily restrict your pronation. So take a call. All right, shin splint. Yes. So Chetan, shin splint is something I would recommend you meet with your doctor. Shin splint can get a little bit more complicated. So meet with the doctor, meet with your physiotherapist, and practice. And if you're out of the pain already, then the next thing for you to do, Chetan, would be to start doing these exercises. There is nothing. Most of these, the injuries that I spoke about can be taken care of with exercises that strengthen the muscles around your knee. Especially your condition, if it is the shin splint, you have to strengthen the muscles around your knees and your calves as well. So the calf raises are a very good way of strengthening your calves. If you've already been using body weight, the next would be to increase the weight when you're doing the calf raises. The way, if you have dumbbells at home, use that. And if you don't, then just load up a backpack with lots and lots of books, hold it, and then do calf raises, right? So your body may be already used to doing calf raises with your body weight. Now you want to increase the strength of your calf, then you need additional weight, more than your body weight, and that can come from a backpack filled with heavy books. If you have children, you won't have dearth of books in your house, so fill that up and make it very heavy, close to between 5 and 10 kgs, and then do the calf raises. The another thing that you can do if you are out of your pain, Chetan, is when you do calf raises, just don't do one side. Just don't raise yourself, but also do the other side, right? So you go do both. So you go on your calves, and then you go on your heels. Turn your toes upwards and go on your heels. Then you turn down your toes, go upwards, and then go down and do like this. All right. So you do both a flexion and an extension of your ankle joint. Hope that answers your question, Chetan. I'm sorry to hear about your shin splint. It's very painful, and I can imagine what you're going through maybe. So shin splint injury. I'm just going through the questions to see. All right, I think those are all the questions. Anybody else has any other question? I'm so sorry it went. I get overboard when I'm talking about running, so sorry about that. If you have any questions, please put it in the comment box. And if you found this session valuable, then please do a like and a love for this video. And I'll see you live in our next week again. Yes, Chetan. And please do look up the video on YouTube, or come back tomorrow. I will put that playlist in the in the comment section of the video. All right. Great. All right. Thank you so much for joining, and sorry for going 15 minutes over. And I'll see you next week. Take care. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a lovely weekend ahead. Happy running.